Okay, in this section 3-3, we are beginning our discussion of slope. And slope is a topic that was covered in Algebra 1, so hopefully this is not completely brand new to you. It should be somewhat of a review of a topic that you've already covered from last year. And so let's begin by talking about the definition of slope. Okay, so slope is a number that measures the steepness of a line. All right, and it's denoted by the letter M. And so there are two formulas that we're going to look at for slope. This first one you're probably familiar with from algebra, and it's M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you know the coordinates of 2 points that are on the line, then you can take those coordinates and throw them into this formula, and then that would give you the slope of the line. All right, and so here's another formula, though, that you may or may not quite be as familiar with, and this is the change formula. So this triangle, okay, stands for change. It's a Greek letter. Delta stands for change, and so the change in y over the change in x, that will also give you the slope. And then slope is sometimes referred to as the rate of change. All right, so let's go ahead and take some practice now finding the slope from 2 points on the line. So let's say these are 2 points on the line, and I want to find the slope. Well, let's walk through both of the formulas, and then you can decide which one you like the best. So on the first one, okay, so y2 minus y1. So here's the first point, here's the second point. Okay, so the y of the second point, let's just use that formula first. All right, so y sub 2 would be the y coordinate of the second point. All right, so that'd be -7. All right, and then it's going to be minus y sub 1, the y coordinate of the first point, which is going to be 5. All right, and all that's going to be over x sub 2, the x coordinate of the second point, 1, minus y sub x sub 1, the x coordinate of the first point, which is -2. So minus -2 would be actually +2. I'll go ahead and change that to +2. Negative and negative makes a positive. All right. And so on top you've got -12, and on the bottom you've got 3, and that'll divide out to make -4. Okay, so now let's do the same problem, but we're going to use the rate of change formula. And so now the slope is equal to, and on top we just want the change in y, the change in y. So how much does y change? Well, y goes from 5 to -7. It goes from 5 to -7. Well, from 5 to -7 is going down, so that's negative, and it's going down by 12. So I'm going to put that 12 on the top of the fraction. So it's going down by 12, -12. All right. The change in x from -2 to 7, from -2 to 7, and so from excuse me, not -2 to 7. It's -2 to 1, because this is my x's that I'm looking for the change in now. So -2 to 1 is actually going up by 3. And so again, the change in y is -12, the change in x is 3. And notice how with this formula I'm already to this step, so I divide it out and get -4. Okay, some people like this second formula better because it's shorter, and some people like the first formula better because that's how they learned it in Algebra 1. Either one will give you the same answer. It doesn't really matter which one that you use. All right. So if you're able to look at the two values and figure out what the change is, then you can just go ahead and use that second formula. So let's practice several more here now. So on this one, again, we're looking for the slope. And so we need the change in y on top. So I need to look at my y numbers. It goes from -2 to -6, so that's going down. -2 to -6 going down by how much? How far down would I have to go to get to -6? I'd have to go down by 4 more. So we're going down by 4 here. And on the bottom now I need the change in x. So my x goes from 4 to -2. That's also going down, but that's going down by 6. -6 on the bottom of the fraction. Now I really just need to reduce this. I'll take the signs into consideration first. So negative divided by negative makes a positive, and then 4 over 6 can reduce to 2/3. So that would be my slope. So the slope of a line through these 2 points would be 2/3. That would be the slope. All right. And so in the next lesson, we're going to kind of get an idea of what those numbers mean and how the slope would actually look. But here we just need to be able to take 2 points and then calculate the slope for the purposes of this lesson. Let's try it again, several more to look at here. So once again, I need the change in y on top, so I'll look at my y numbers. They go from 4 to 2, and so from 4 to 2 is going down. So we'll start with a negative. It's going down by 2, so that's -2 on the top. And now I need my change in x from -4 to 0, and then so that's going up. It's going up by 4, so I'll put my 4 here. And now I just need to reduce that fraction, and so negative divided by positive is a negative. 2 over 4 reduces to 1/2. -1/2 is my slope on this one. All right. So again, we're just using the formula in order to find the slope of the lines. Here's the next one that we're looking at here. So again, I've got the slope that I'm trying to calculate. The first number is the change in y, and so the y goes from 0 to 8, from 0 to 8, and so that's actually going up, and it's going up by 8. And so now the change in x is on the bottom side of this, and so x goes from 0 to 2. That's actually going down, and it's going down by 2. And so now I can divide that out. So positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 8 divided by 2 is going to leave me with 4. -4 is my slope. Okay, last one that we want to take a look at here. It is one where we will start by looking at our y's, and y's go from -2 to -4, and so that's actually going down. So we got a negative number here, and it's going down by 2. And my change in x from -5 to 5, that's going up, and it's going up by 10. Alright, and so from here I've got -2 over 10, so negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 2 over 10, that'll reduce down to 1 over 5, and so that is my slope. Alright, so again, like I say, remember you've got 2 formulas that you could use. Either one would give you the same answer, and so it doesn't matter which one of them you pick. You can pick the one that you feel most comfortable with. Like I say, some people think that the first one is better because that's the way they did it in algebra and the one they're more comfortable with. Some people like the second formula, the change one, better because it's a little bit shorter and you can get the problems done a little faster that way. All right, and as long as you can look at the 2 values and figure out what the change is, then that second formula will work just fine. If you have trouble doing that, then you may have to go back and use the other formula so you can subtract them to find the change. Alright, so that's it for this lesson.